There's a spice in your kitchen cabinet right now that mice are genuinely terrified of. It has been traded across oceans, fought over by empires, and used as medicine for thousands of years. And, at some point in the last century, the pest control industry quietly made sure you stopped thinking about it as anything other than something you put in apple pie. That spice is cloves. And what it does to a mouse's nervous system is not a folktale. It is chemistry. And once you understand how it works, you will look at every mouse trap, every poison bait station, and every $30 ultrasonic plug-in you have ever bought very differently. But before we get into the science, let me ask you something. Think about the last time you dealt with mice. You probably did one of two things. You either put down snap traps, baited them with peanut butter, caught one or two, felt briefly victorious, and then a week later had mice again. Or you called a pest control company, paid a few $100s, watched them put down bait stations filled with rodenticide, and were told to come back in 30 days, and you did come back. And you probably came back the month after that too. Did you ever stop and wonder why the same problem keeps coming back no matter what you do? Here is what no one in the pest control business has any incentive to explain to you. Killing individual mice does not solve a mouse problem. Mice are extraordinary survivors. A female mouse can reproduce from the time she is 6 weeks old and produce a new litter every 3 to 4 weeks. Each litter is between 6 and 12 pups. If you have a mouse in your home, you do not have a mouse. You have a mouse population that you're only seeing a fraction of. Kill 10 and 30 more waiting in the walls and the crawl space behind your appliances. The trap model and the poison model both rely on the same fundamental flaw. They deal with the symptom and leave the cause completely intact. The cause is that your home is accessible and attractive to mice. And the solution that actually addresses that cause is not killing them one at a time. It is making your home a place they do not want to be in the first place. It is repulsion. And that is where cloves come in. Cloves are the dried flower buds of a tropical evergreen tree called Syzygium aromaticum, native to a tiny chain of volcanic islands in what is now Indonesia, known historically as the Spice Islands. For most of human history, cloves were almost incomprehensibly valuable. In 15th century England, 1 pound of cloves cost a skilled tradesman nearly 5 days' wages. Merchants kept the island's location a secret for centuries to maintain their stranglehold on the market. The Dutch East India Company burned clove trees on islands outside their control, specifically to keep prices high. Wars were fought over them. Colonial empires were partially built around them. A small bag of cloves could be traded for its weight in gold. Today, you can buy a pound of them for $1. That fall in price did not happen because cloves became less powerful. It happened because the trade routes opened, production spread, and supply caught up with demand. The compound inside them that made them so medically and commercially prized throughout history did not go anywhere. It is still there. It is called eugenol, and it makes up between 70 and 90% of clove oil. And eugenol is what mice cannot stand. Here is the biology. A mouse's sense of smell is approximately 100 times more sensitive than a human's. This is not a slight advantage. It is their entire survival operating system. They use scent to find food, to communicate, to navigate, to detect predators, and to map territory using pheromone trails they lay down everywhere they go. Take away their ability to smell clearly, and you have taken away their ability to function. Eugenol does not just smell strong to a mouse, it directly irritates the mucous membranes in their nasal passages. It overwhelms their olfactory receptors, interfering with their ability to detect the food trails and pheromone maps they depend on entirely. Studies from the University of California confirm that plant secondary metabolites like eugenol alter rodent foraging behavior, disrupt scent trail communication, and in concentrated doses cause mice to actively vacate areas where the compound is present. A 2021 study found that mice avoided spaces treated with clove oil almost completely over a 3-week period. Not sometimes, almost completely. But here is where the real insight lives, and this is the part nobody talks about. The pest control industry is a $45 billion global business. The residential segment alone in North America generates nearly $10 billion a year. That business model requires you to have recurring pest problems. It is not built around permanent solutions. It is built around monthly service contracts, repeat bait station, refills, and annual inspections. A company that sold you something once and your problem never came back would have no business model. A pound of whole cloves that permanently makes your home unattractive to mice costs about $1. You can see why that information has not been aggressively marketed to you. Now here's how you actually use it, because placement and method matter enormously. Whole cloves scattered randomly do not work well enough. You need concentration and strategic placement. The goal is to create what amounts to an olfactory barrier, a perimeter of scent so overwhelming that mice turn around at the threshold rather than crossing it. Start with every entry point. Mice can squeeze through a gap the size of a dime. Look at where pipes enter walls, where cables come through baseboards, where there are gaps under doors or around window frames. Stuff small mesh bags or old stockings with a dense packed handful of whole cloves and wedge them into or directly beside every gap you can find. The density matters. A few scattered cloves lose potency within days. A tightly packed sachet holds its concentration for weeks. For the interior, under sinks, behind appliances, inside cabinets along baseboards, in rooms where you have seen activity, use clove oil on cotton balls. Clove oil is eugenol in concentrated liquid form. Cornell researchers confirmed that eugenol makes up 70 to 90% of clove essential oil. Soak a cotton ball, place it in a small open container or directly on a surface, and position it in every corner and under every appliance in the affected areas. The vapor radius of concentrated clove oil is significant. One soaked cotton ball in the back corner of a kitchen cabinet creates a scent environment that mice find genuinely distressing. For the garage, the crawl space, or anywhere you cannot easily access regularly, make the spray version. 2 cups of water, 20 drops of clove oil, a few drops of dish soap to help. It disperse into a spray bottle. Spray along baseboards, across thresholds, around any gap or crack. Reapply every 2 weeks. In high humidity areas, reapply weekly because moisture dilutes the concentration faster. And here is the multiplier that most people never use. Cloves are powerful on their own. Combined with other eugenol-containing compounds, they become a layered sensory assault that is significantly harder for mice to habituate to. Cinnamon contains eugenol at lower concentrations, but adds a second aromatic compound that hits different receptors. Cayenne pepper contains capsaicin, which physically irritates a mouse's nasal tissue on contact, a completely different mechanism from eugenol. Mix ground cinnamon and cayenne pepper into your clove sachets. Now you have 3 active compounds hitting 3 different parts of a mouse's olfactory and pain system simultaneously. Commercial rodent repellents that work on natural principles almost all use exactly this kind of compound stacking. You can build the same formula at home for less than $3 total. There is one honest caveat that this channel will always give you, because your trust matters more than a clean story. If you have a severe established infestation, meaning mice are already nesting inside your walls and have been for some time, cloves alone will not immediately remove them. At that stage, you need to combine the olfactory barrier with physical exclusion, meaning sealing every gap with steel wool and expanding foam that mice cannot chew through, and temporarily using traps to reduce the existing population while the repulsion system takes hold. Cloves prevent and they discourage. Used correctly, they stop new mice from entering and make the environment unpleasant enough that existing mice begin to leave. But they are not a one-day fix for a months-old infestation. They are a permanent, ongoing system. And that is actually the point. The trap is a transaction. You catch one mouse, you throw it away, you reset the trap. The clove system is an environment. You build it once, you maintain it, and mice stop choosing your home. That shift in thinking went from reacting to individual mice to making your entire home structurally unattractive to rodents is the thing the pest control industry cannot afford to teach you. Because the pest control market hit $45 billion globally last year. It is projected to reach $65 billion by 2032. That is not a market built on people solving their pest problems permanently. That is a market built on people who never learned that a flower bud that empires went to war over, that was more valuable than gold for centuries, is sitting in a bag on the bottom shelf of their grocery store for $1, and it has been there the whole time. Knowledge is power. That's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one.